Greetings, my friends. I'm Andrea, astrologer, and welcome to this weekly update on markets in general and crypto. It is basically for the last week of January, from the 27th until the end of the month, that I would like to cover today, mentioning also briefly the weekend. And it is really interesting. We have a complex energy around us with Uranus stationary, and Jupiter will follow closely stationary, which means that we will have really difficulty in seeing the transits that are short term. Some of them are suppressed, some of them are really executed, and it's good to be aware of that. Actually, there are detailed techniques that one can dive into, but they are super time consuming. So we hope for the best to see as much as possible from the next week. From any mistakes for them, I want to apologize in advance. So it's important to be aware that it is a tricky time to estimate. It's from this part of January, actually from the 27th, and it will go until at least the 4th of February, I would say, when Jupiter turns. And to be more sure, I would give the 10th of February as a period that is more difficult to see. And we are in a Rahu-Neptune dreamy energy. So I would like also to say that it is important to focus on clearing the mind, because this is possible despite of the confusion that it can get into rational areas of life. But then you can really have a full recharge with this transit, and it's very creative. Imagination is really favored, so have a look at that. Also, from a financial market perspective, we can have new projects, especially in terms of art, maybe NFT revival, God knows, but in general, I would say it is a dreamy landscape. I would like to talk, like always, about the global astrology, and then to go into details with members for Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, and the XAU, the gold and silver index. So let's go. We do have the end of January with the 28th of January actually on good aspect, so to speak. It's a Mercury Rahu sextile that we have in the global astrology. This normally is a positive and adventurous aspect in the market, which would really bring the price up, but also the trading activity, possibly the volume as well. So this is something we can look forward to if we get permission from Uranus. So I really hope we will get this, because it will be an interesting influence to have that can lift prices up. But again, it's not a sustainable energy, and it can grow too fast and too significantly, and then it will drop. It will not have durability in time. This energy can also be postponed after Uranus turns, at least in the beginning of February, I would say, or maybe, let's say, from the 10th or from the 7th, something like that. This is also possible, but in any case, it's good to have it in mind as an inventory in case we get more bearish energy, which is, I think, the likelier scenario at first, and then we will get more positive energy executing. And we do have the 29th of January also with a bearish aspect this time, which is a Mercury-Pluto conjunction. As I mentioned, we do have Mercury in the sidereal Capricorn. Look at my shorts if you didn't see them. It is an important transit for Bitcoin, being driven driven a lot by the news, so it is important to check these more often than usual. Then I would like to say that this is in general a negative influence that points towards regulation and big money. Could be that some disruption or some unexpected things happen with ETFs. There are news, rumors around it. This could be a case where I'm thinking about these ETFs due to the fact that Pluto is the big money, or it could be simply some regulation that is not really the one that is expected, so to speak, to lift up and accelerate things. Now we do have already the reach of the degree where Uranus turns from the beginning of the week, so roughly on the 28th. And on the 30th, we have the big turn of Uranus that we wait for. Usually this is historically a trigger for the altcoin season. So what we will have this time, it will be interesting, but we need to wait because Jupiter is still stationary. So I really hope it will move. We have on this day, it's very important to see the global astrology, a Sun trine Jupiter, which is very favorable, positive. It shows a positive regulation, so it's a sort, of a mixed bag for the previous days, but today it shows really a positive outlook towards crypto due to positive regulation, so to speak. The Sun being the royal energy and Jupiter is about benevolence, it's about expansion, but this Jupiter is stationary, therefore it can take its time. On the day, it's also important to see which aspect Uranus has. And what I see, of course, I looked in detail at hourly aspects because we don't have another type of aspect, this being a rare event. It is negative, unfortunately, but I would say that combined with the positive energy, it will show a volatility on the day or around the day, again, due to the fact that we have Uranus stationary still. Even if it turns, it doesn't have speed, and Jupiter is already stationary as well. So again, patience would be probed a bit, but this is important to take into account, because if it's not manifested now, it will get manifested very soon. So it's good to be aware of this, because there are quite a few aspects pending. You can see them as a queue, and then all of them will enter the shop afterwards. So this means that we might have price moves that are pretty significant afterwards, and then we ask ourselves why, because we don't have any other exact aspect afterwards when it really happens. And this is the reason why, because all this queue of aspects would go directly into the Bitcoin shop, so to speak. So this is, I would say, a positive Thursday from this point of view, at least as an inventory. For the global astrology, again, Bitcoin horoscope is another story. And we do have also on Friday a sort of no event at day level for global astrology. So it can continue the pace and the influence from the previous day. Again, all my predictions are for the UTC time zone. The location in the world where UTC is currently active is London, UK. Now I would like to go into the details with the members. Before I go, sorry, I almost forgot, but I promised you also a brief update on the weekend in the global astrology. We do have Sunday with a Venus-Neptune conjunction, which is good and could really recover some drops, but I see negative energy also at hourly level, which is pretty strong. Enhanced volatility on the first, on Saturday actually, and it is really, I would say, a point of caution beginning beginning of February. It might be that something is suppressed at least because Jupiter is stationary just before turning. Uranus is still stationary, it doesn't really move, and it is a weekend where we can have low transaction volume. But in general, I would describe the weekend as not positive, but recovery would come because of the positive aspect on Sunday. So sorry for getting this and thank you again. My dear Patreon and Telegram subscribers, welcome to this new weekly edition for the end of January for financial markets. Bitcoin, Ethereum and altcoins are covered. So this means that we will really talk about a turning point. I would say many turning points we do have this month. So please check also the monthly update for February is available. Before I start, I would like to apologize for any inconvenience created to you, but I warned about the stationary period. I do my best. And because some of you had comments, astrology is really with certain rules. And these rules are of course in the books, and in practical life you can see the market and really take a note this aspect, what it's doing and when and in which conditions. It is very complex. Only God is perfect at astrology, no human is. The thing is that we do have here a change. Always when planets are stationary, things are not like usual. Usually they will happen but with delay, and we have all the time negative and positive aspects, especially now astrologically it's very mixed each day. You see all of them and it's very difficult to make sense, okay, in which direction it would go. Would these two aspects be merged? What would be the energy of the day? Because it doesn't point in the same direction. It's contradictory and it has Uranus influences on top, which is volatile. This is not for me as an excuse, but really Uranus is the one which is stationary right now, and I did my best. At least I managed to predict the new top for the week, so it's not like an entirely wrong week, but I'm aware that we expected more afterwards, and for me this is also a learning that in general the first peak would be the best peak, so to speak, that you get, especially when stationary comes with Bitcoin, and the second best peak can come but with distance in time. It won't come fast as I hoped that it will go even more up, so to speak. So yes, we do have Uranus stationary. It will be stationary until February 4th at least. Jupiter is also stationary. It will turn on February 4th, but it is stationary before, of course. So it will be a challenging, even more challenging week with two stationary planets, and I do my best to say what it is about the astrology, what normally works, what the rules are, and again, please consider delays for the shorter time frame. Some of things can work, some of them cannot work, maybe. So we will need to see how this behaves. I would like to be able to tell you right now what will happen, but usually I'm really dependent, like you, on the price action immediately. I cannot do it in advance, and it depends also the time frame you are interested in. So here I advise caution because of the volatility. Uranus is also very strong, and we can also go into stagnation still until we get a sort of relief of energy. I expect some dumps in the markets, to be honest, on the 2nd to 4th of February, possibly a bit delayed, but the beginning of February could be a release of negative energy in terms of astrological influences. We will need to see how much, and then it will go up afterwards as Uranus and Jupiter gain speed. Sorry for the long introduction, and again, I regret any inconvenience to you. Be aware, don't trust the short time frame like you usually do until I would say even the 10th of February, to be very, very specific about it and on the safe side. Thank you. So now I would like to share with you whatever I have, the calendars that are carefully constructed by me in regards to the astrology of the next week. Bitcoin for the last days of January. Let's look at the calendar. I will also put the cheat sheet handy for the new ones. Welcome. We do have here, as you see, green starting the week, but again, it can be delayed, it can be suppressed, and it can run also into stagnation for the week. I repeat that, just be aware, this is special time. And it is normally positive, and if it doesn't really move, we should really think of it as a trigger for the future once we will have Bitcoin really moving due to Uranus and Jupiter moving as well. Then on the second day of the week, we have negative energy, which is also let's say supported by some of the aspects that we have in the global astrology, but we have a volatility that is really green for Bitcoin, as you can see here. This means that we can have a pump during the day, so we will have, of course, some drops, but recovery as well. So this would be the normal scenario if we have volume and things really move. The 29th of January, if I'm correct, it is also the FOMC meeting about the interest rate. So here I think there is a mixed bag. As you see, we do have the weather, which is pretty tough. We have the storm, but we will also have this bright moon crescent and the new moon energy that would be positive. So it will be maybe a dump before it goes up, and this is, to be honest, what I would expect, and the possibility not to go up really at the moment when the rate decision is really made is also very likely. So I do think we will have a sort of negative energy that we will need to deal at the beginning of February, or if we really get increases like supported here by the horoscope after the decision, then it would be short term and we will get a correction. Maybe people will cash in, and then it will go up again once Jupiter and Uranus will move. So from the 10th to be the most sure, it can happen also a bit earlier, I would say. Then we do have 31st, which is neutral. So the gray days are neutral, meaning that at Bitcoin level in the horoscope, no special events occur. February starts on Saturday, so we have the 1st of February. Therefore, it's a more temporary negative energy also in the Bitcoin horoscope, as you can see based on the red moon crescents and the red Bitcoin fire. So basically, the volatility is triggered by the Bitcoin horoscope, and we might see it on Saturday or only on Monday, I would say, possibly on Friday, but due to the fact that Jupiter and Uranus are still stationary, actually I would say that it would be rather be delayed on the 3rd, 4th, maybe 4th. I would see it as a more likely date when this energy will be released. And we do get also a quick term recovery with the bright moon crescent next day, but we don't have a specific aspect at day level. So again, it's like a recovery which is promised. Now, if it happens, we will see in the next days, and we can look forward to 6th of February when Jupiter already has turned, that we have a positive aspect, big green in the Bitcoin horoscope. Therefore, please be patient, don't lose hope, and panic mode is not really something that we should need to consider, because there are things to come, and you are aware, some of you who are deeper into the markets, of the liquidity cycle, the perspective, the correlation with Bitcoin, so it's not a lost case, so to speak. So let's go into Ethereum, another puzzle which really puts our nerves on test. Ethereum, if we look from January 27th onwards, we do have a very similar trajectory with Bitcoin, in my opinion, with the days distributed in terms of energy quite in the same way. The weather will be the same. So for the new ones, this is really the market. The weather is the market, what happens for everyone, not necessarily S&P 500. It's really what is in the sky and affects us as people, so to speak, because human psychology is very important in markets, so it's important to be aware of it. What do we have here? What is different? On the 31st, we have again a long-term aspect, which is negative. Again, it's long-term, doesn't need to dump on January 31st, but we should have this influence in mind when we will have things moving, and it is important to have this into account again. Still, I am puzzled about Ethereum, to be honest, and I would have expected more move, not really something extraordinary, because usually I set up my expectations lower in general, especially with this astrology that I see for the first part of the year. But I can say that it is really important to look. So please expect some more details on me dissecting Ethereum, because I didn't see the positive energy really manifested, and I'm asking myself, what did I miss? Also, analysts are waiting for the big breakthrough. It is also promised via astrology, but I ask myself if there is something negative that I could have missed. So stay tuned for a dedicated video for Ethereum to come in the upcoming weeks, I would say. Now let's see what happens with Ethereum in the weekend, in the first part of February. 1st of February, Saturday, we do have negative energy here, and on the 2nd, Sunday, we do have positive. So it's a sort of other way around when compared with Bitcoin. But on the 3rd, 4th, we see 4th neutral, and 3rd is red, also with a red moon crescent, which shows a drop during the day. Yes, it's mixed, sort of diminished by the good weather, but still, I do think the beginning of February, we need some attention. There could happen also during the weekend, but again, I still vote for the 4th, 5th, when Jupiter will go direct as well. Still stationary, but we need to see what happens there, and to which degree things get up to speed in the beginning of February. Now, I would like to talk about altcoins. Blue chips. I would really stick to blue chips this time, because we have so much question mark, so to speak, and it is not clear when we will have really normal speed. I mean, I told you what I expect, and therefore for blue chips, the strongest that I see, because I have a strong bullish aspect at the end of the month, is Dogecoin. So just be aware of news news, follow news there. Something could really move if TA and fractals confirm and you can get a good entry, then it would be pretty good. But again, nothing guaranteed, maybe really nothing moves. But it's the strongest positive influence that I get for the blue chips. The others, I would really not recommend anything based on astrology, but worthwhile to watch out if something moves for Solana and XRP. You know, there are discussions about ETFs that could be approved quite soon, and this is also worthwhile to watch, I would say. Now I would like to go into the gold topic. The XAU, the gold and silver index for the end of January, we do have neutral days in the majority of the week, especially in the first part, and a sync with the global astrology. As you can see, it doesn't really go against it. So I would say that it could be, again, also consolidation, sort of stagnation, nothing big really happens. And the end of the week, so to speak, on Friday, would really show a mixed influence, but it's more positive than negative overall. I do think a drop could really happen, and if it doesn't happen, it will be delayed to the beginning of the next week. And let's look also at the weekend. What kind of astrology do we have on the 1st and 2nd of February? As we can see from the calendar, we get green days, which means that the horoscope of the XAU index is triggered positively, and also good weather on Saturday and Sunday. So whatever happens in the beginning of the week, but it could be that gold will not drop. It's a possibility, at least based on astrology. Also, the 5th is also critical there, as you see. We will get these aspects which are positive manifested after we get movement from Jupiter, in case everything is frozen and nothing really moves. So this is also a possibility for XAU, and this is what I wanted to share with you. So overall, I see the gold better or slightly better, at least. It depends how the volume really takes place in the beginning of the weekend, what would be the magnitude of the dump. Now, do I expect a big dump? I don't know. It could be big, at least in terms of planetary energy. It is negative. We need to recon that, but it's hard to say what would be the transaction volume. And again, news will be very important, especially for crypto, for Bitcoin. So watch this. And I wish you a very inspired action for the next week. It's not easy. If you don't want to risk anything, then it's better maybe not to trade. It would be one of those weeks where maybe you are on more gains if you do nothing. And until next time, be joyful, and I wish you a great week ahead. See you.